Sunny August, it's raining cats and dogs these days. Wherever you're watching us from, it's always good to be back. And of course, today I'm stepping in for Ibrahima Balde, but I'll pretend to be Balde today. Mr. Ade, and I am with my guest today, newspaper review guest, or should I say my co-host?
I'm your co-host, and I was really hoping that I would pretend to be Balde and you can just be yourself.
Okay.
But yeah, you know, because it's a Wednesday after all, so you're normally here on a Wednesday.
Yes.
And but you've taken the Balde role, so carry on.
Okay.
But it's good to be here as a co-host. Yeah.
Thank you. And yes, mbokk yi comme nu ma ko waxee rek fu waay munti nekk rek this moo nekk morning show bi seen morning dose bi xam nga nuñ ko dee defee rek saa su ne rek dañ dee ñëw fii andi newspaper review bi andi segments yoo xam ne daal dañ am solo torop waxtaane ñoo xam ne daal dañ am solo torop xew-xew jamono tey nag luñ fi nara amoo nekk suñ newspaper review bi comme nuñ ko dee defee saa su ne rek ñu ngi amee guest from Bay Kanyang. You know, it's a human rights organization. Ñu ngi amee tamit fi expect guests from the Gambia Talinding Red Cross link ñoom tamit dañoo ñëw fii tey ñu waxtaanee mbiri disaster xam nañ ne daal si rainy season bi lañ nekk te fu mu nekk ni ñi yëpp everyday mu ngee taw so disaster si dañ dee bari da ngeen yéen a ngee wonda tey naka laa look xam ngeen ne ku fa jaare moo nekk njaay cara waaye dinañ ñëw si loolu noonu si kanam. So like I was saying today, we will also we have the newspaper review, which will be done by I will do that with Mr. Ade Drama, and of course we have the African proverb, our African proverb, and from there we will have the first segment, which is Bekanyang, and we will have the executive director of Famara Jaune, who will be joining us here in the studio to talk about human rights issues and of course the recent training that they were having. And from there we will have the Talinding Red Cross link, and we will have a representative from the Talinding Red Cross link, and we will talk about disaster. So you know, this rainy season, floods, disaster everywhere. So it's important to talk about these issues and to prepare ourselves to better handle disaster and disaster-related issues. So from there, we will just head straight to our African proverb this morning, Mr. Ade.
You know, I had once said when I came on this show that I would refuse to read this unless they told me which African country it comes from. Africa is a big continent. But anyway, they still refuse to do that.
Okay.
But it says, a child who asks questions does not become a fool. A child who asks questions does not become a fool. What's your reading of that?
For me, Mr. Ade, a child who asks questions doesn't become a fool. I think that is direct. People who ask questions, you normally know. You know, ignorant is not an excuse. Normally they say ignorant of the law is not an excuse, but if you ask, if you learn, the tendency of you knowing is very high. Sure. But what is bad is haphazard knowledge, pretending to know when you don't actually know. That is really bad in every, you know, whether in education, whether in life, whether whatever you're doing. It's always good to know exactly what you're doing, rather than just pretending to know and not, you know. And asking questions. Oftentimes, if you find yourself in a certain level or certain position in life, most people tend to feel shy to ask questions. Embarrassed to feel all these basic questions in life. But it's no, I believe that you are never too old to ask questions. You are never too old to learn. You are never too old to know new things and learn new things. But oftentimes in this part of the world, we always feel like, okay, if I'm in certain position, I can't really ask my junior at this. But sometimes those juniors themselves know better than you. So I think we have to remove that arrogance, you know, arrogance from us. We have to remove that pride from us as individuals to learn. Let's have the, you know, enthusiasm to learn, to ask questions, and so that we can better ourselves. Trust me, the person who asks lots of questions knows lots of issues and, you know, will not make mistakes.
It's true. I mean, the only thing I would take issue with, I agree with almost everything you said, except when you said in this part of the world. What you have described about people who get to a certain level and they're too embarrassed or arrogant, that's universal. It's not unique to the Gambia. Anywhere you go in the world, there are people who, when they reach a certain level, they feel they should not ask somebody who's junior and so on. And you take something like social media. For many people who are in their 50s or 60s and they have staff who are in their teens or 20s, those people spend half their life on social media. If you want to know stuff about social media, ask them. Don't be shy. Don't be embarrassed. So it's not just a child who asks questions who does not become a fool, even an adult who asks questions. You know, when we first got our team together at QTV News, we have a different sort of motto now on the board, but the original motto was learn something new every day. So I'm somebody who believes very much in seeking knowledge. Every day you'll find me on a website reading several 10, 20, 30 pages about something I didn't know about yesterday. Because I want to know, and you know, it improves, it broadens your knowledge, and so as it says there, you do not become a fool. So yeah, definitely I agree with this proverb, but I'd still like to know which country it comes from.
I guess
but it's a nice one. It's a nice one, and it's exactly what it says there. You know, a child who asks questions does not become a fool. You know, because as you said, you get to learn things, you improve your knowledge, and you know, as time goes on, you acquire more knowledge, and that will only be for the benefit and for your good.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. I mean, it's very important to ask questions. Oftentimes you see like people, if they get to a certain age, like, okay, I can't go to school because, you know, maybe I might be discriminated against, I might be stigmatized and all that. So it's a problem. People feel that, okay, when you get to a certain stage of your life, you can't really do certain things. I don't know how that come about, but it's
well,
really
I'm glad
disturbing.
you used that example, because I know in a real life setting, I know somebody who went to the UK as a refugee, and she was she would have been in her late 20s at the time, and she couldn't read or write. And so she was offered free adult literacy classes. And when she went, there were other people from Sierra Leone in the class. And she felt embarrassed, and she left. And I said, but they weren't embarrassed to be there. They were there to learn and to you know, learn to read and write. If they weren't embarrassed, why should you be? You know, so I persuaded her to go back and rejoin, and you know, thankfully she did. But yeah, sometimes people, like she said, oh, I got into the class and there were 4 other people. They were also from Sierra Leone. They were also refugees. I said, and? She said, well, you know, I don't want them to see me. I was like, what do you mean? You know, they haven't gone there to look at people. They've gone there to learn, and you should go there to learn. So yeah, sometimes this is a thing that you know, it can hold us back, and it's going to be to your detriment.
Exactly.
If you don't want to learn.
And I would take it to the context. The reason why I said earlier on, in this part of the world, is because of, you know, some of our cultures have really contributed a lot in terms of how we, you know, act, how we behave, and even our self-confidence, our self-esteem. Like in typical fuller society, for instance, as a child, you're not allowed to ask certain questions.
I knew you would come to this, because I was going to say the one thing that resonates with me is that growing up, I know children who would tell me that if they ask questions in their house, at the back of the head, don't ask questions. And so it made them reserved. It made them embarrassed, shy, upset. And then also, you know, going to school in Sierra Leone in the 1960s, if you ask a question and, you know, the teacher would think, you don't know that? Instead of answering your question, they'd make fun of you in front of your classmates. So, of course, what's that going to do to the child? It inhibits you. So even though you sit there, you don't know, you pretend you know. Because you think, oh, if I ask this question, the teacher is going to embarrass me in front of my classmates. And that's not good. For me, those are the worst kind of teachers. And, you know, luckily I had good teachers, but I had quite a few of those terrible teachers who, you know, they had no job teaching.
It happens
really.
a lot. It happens a lot, because
So,
even if you go to workshops, even at my age, if I go to workshops and all that, I meet with some people who will not even open like their mouth to ask even a question. I feel like they are not dumb or whatever, but they feel like, oh, that is how they were brought up, that is how they were trained in the school system, at home. Like, you can't ask questions, or if you ask questions, maybe it's too much for you to know, or maybe you're too dumb to ask those kind of questions. So it's really not helping. I think we should really break that culture of silence, and then starting to ask more questions
Well,
and
you
all
know,
that.
sometimes for us in the journalism field, you go as a journalist, you ask a really dumb question, and you hear the other journalist like,
Yeah.
he said what? You shouldn't do that. For me, I don't care how dumb the question is. This is my face. You know, I'm not even inside. I might be laughing like, "Hey, that's a really dumb question." But I would never communicate that to the person because there's a reason why they asked it. You know, they want to know. You know, they didn't ask it to embarrass themselves. So why should people embarrass them? I never do that. You know, because I don't want to be. If I go somewhere, trust me, if I don't know, I will put my hand up and ask. I don't care if everybody else knows it and I don't. I want to know. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, so it's really crazy. And you know, we have all these taboos in our society. Sometimes your parent will like, stop this is not good. Or maybe you can't, for instance, buy salt at night. You can't, you know, do certain things at night. And then your parents will tell you that it's not good. But if you do it, but you don't ask questions as to why, you know, what is the consequences and all that. But I was told that time is up. We'll go.
Go.
It's really interesting, but we'll go for a short commercial break. When we return, the program continues. To stay tuned, don't go away.
Cool. Are they going to fix this thing? What's this thing? Click, click, click.
Data bundle plans in one package. Get unlimited data packages with flexible validity and enjoy what true internet feels like. Get 30 minutes of on-net and off-net calls with 5 gigabytes of data for just $350. Or get bigger bundle packages from 10 gigabytes to 20 gigabytes with over 100 on-net and off-net voice calls and enjoy the fastest internet speed in the Gambia. You can also buy 1-day, 3-day or even 7-day packages and enjoy unlimited data bundles with uncapped speeds. Just dial *343# today and experience the limitless capabilities of the QCell network. *343# should be your favorite code to dial now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, we innovate, others follow.
Step into the Espas Motors showroom for your luxurious name brand vehicle. Located along the Bertil Harding Highway, Espas Motors is the Gambia's authorized dealer for Chery, Kia, Ford, and now we bring you the new Peugeot Model 3008 SUV. 18-inch alloy wheels, 216 inches high ground clearance, keyless entry system, start and stop button, rear parking assistance system, reverse camera, adaptive cruise control with speed limit, LED daytime running lights, front and side airbags, 8-inch HD touchscreen. Not to forget our exquisite Peugeot Landtrek double cabin pickup with 2.1-liter diesel engine, 6-speed manual transmission 4x4, hill descent control, LED daytime running lights. Espas Motors, the authorized dealer for Peugeot. Visit us today or call us on 35-2222 or 353-4444.
Do your banking the smart way with the new Ajibank mobile app. Transfer money to any bank account in the Gambia. Top up airtime for all networks. Pay utility bills. Check your account balance and view mini statements. Request for ATM cards. Request for checkbooks and more in a single touch. So, do your banking in a smart way. Do your banking now with Ajibank mobile app. Every time is banking time. Ajibank, your investment partner.
Technology has always been at the forefront of our lives, and the way we use it has evolved drastically over the years. With the advent of 5G internet, we are entering a new era of technological innovation that promises to transform the way we live, work, and play. 5G internet is capable of providing data speeds up to 100 times faster than 4G, making it the ideal solution for streaming high-quality videos, playing online games, and downloading large files on the go. 5G internet is already transforming cities across the globe, powering smart cities, self-driving cars, and virtual reality experiences that were once thought impossible. 5G internet is also paving the way for Internet of Things, allowing for seamless connectivity between devices and the creation of a truly connected world. For the first time in the Gambia, QCell is bringing tomorrow's technology to you today with the launch of QCell 5G Internet. Get ready to experience the out-of-this-world wonders of QCell's 5G Internet. For more information, call 111. QCell. We innovate, others follow.
The future is now. With QCell's 5G network, experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
QCell brings you the future with our ultimate bundles. Enjoy the best voice and data bundle plans in one package. Get unlimited data packages with flexible validity and enjoy what true internet feels like. Get 30 minutes of on-net and off-net calls with 5 gigabytes of data for just $350. Or get bigger bundle packages from 10 gigabytes to 20 gigabytes with over 100 on-net and off-net voice calls and enjoy the fastest internet speed in the Gambia. You can also buy 1-day, 3-day or even 7-day packages and enjoy unlimited data bundles with uncapped speeds. Just dial *343# today and experience the limitless capabilities of the QCell network. *343# should be your favorite code to dial now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, we innovate, others follow.
Step into the Espas Motors showroom for your luxurious name brand vehicle. Located along the Bertil Harding Highway, Espas Motors is the Gambia's authorized dealer for Chery, Kia, Ford, and now we bring you the new Peugeot model 3008 SUV. 18-inch alloy wheels, 216 inches high ground clearance, keyless entry system, start and stop button, rear parking assistance system with reverse camera, adaptive cruise control with speed limit, LED daytime running lights, front and side airbags, 8-inch HD touchscreen. Not to forget our exquisite Peugeot Landtrek double cabin pickup with 2.1-liter diesel engine, 6-speed manual transmission 4x4, hill descent control, LED daytime running lights. Espas Motors, the authorized dealer for Peugeot. Visit us today or call us on 35-22-222 or 353-4444.
Do your banking the smart way with the new Aji Bank mobile app. Transfer money to any bank account in the Gambia. Top up airtime for all networks. Pay utility bills. Check your account balance and view mini statements. Request for ATM cards. Request for checkbooks and more in a single touch. So, do your banking in a smart way. Do your banking now with Aji Bank mobile app. Every time is banking time. Aji Bank, your investment partner.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is the This Morning program coming to you live on QTV, and I am Julden Jai. And like I was saying earlier on, we are looking at disaster. We know that during the rainy season, the country is prone to lots of disaster and disaster-related issues. You have floods, you have lots of issues, and people are losing their homes, their livestock, their properties due to the flood and all other disaster-related issues. Now, to address this, we have the Talinding Red Cross link in the studio with us to talk about these issues. Recently, they held a training for the community members and some of the Red Cross volunteers on disaster issues and how to better prepare themselves. Now, I have Khadija Tudabo with me and Kabir Nyas. Good morning, lady and gentleman.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you all doing?
Fine.
Alhamdulillah, giving thanks.
Thanks for honoring our invitation.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah. So we are talking about disaster. Of course, we know that Talinding is a disaster-prone area, like many parts of the country. Tell us, the impact this particular training has, Kabir.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. As you have rightly said, I am Kabir Nyas, member of the Talinding Home Red Cross Link and also part of the Elders Committee. Yeah, as you have said, a disaster is an issue in Talinding, and over the years, many people in Talinding have suffered due to floods and other fire outbreaks and many issues related to disaster. This training has a lot of impact in the community because the training didn't start this year. We started the training since 2017. That was the first time we had the training, and alhamdulillah, we have been partnering with QTV. They have covered most of our events since 2017. We have it annually. Since then, it has been an annual event. The main purpose of the training is to equip the community members, because we realize that our membership is not that vast to respond always to disaster. So during the rainy season, during flood, families suffered, and we will not have volunteers to go and respond immediately. So we deem it fitting to train community members. In every community, we train set of people in every ward, so that during disaster, these people will go and respond, because that's the most important thing when disaster arises. So as you said, the impact it has, we realize that community members have seen themselves. When disaster arises, they will not only wait for Red Cross to come and assist, but rather they will also take the mantle to say, let's go out and respond.
So,
so Khadijato, you've been involved in this. What form does the training take in terms of disaster preparedness? What exactly do you do with the community?
Okay, thank you very much. As rightly mentioned, I am Khadijato Daba, a volunteer of Talinding Home Red Cross Link. Yes, Talinding is a disaster-prone zone, and during the rainy season is always an issue for the community. So we sit as a link and discuss, like Caps rightly mentioned. Not all of us can respond on time because most of us are far from the disaster-prone areas. So the community being trained means they have direct impact on the community. Whatever happens, they are not to rely on us like before. They are on the ground doing what is necessary before we arrive.
So what do you train them to do exactly?
Yes, so we train them on first aid. That is, when you go to a disaster zone, what are some of the things that you need to observe? Aside that, also we have the fire service, that is the Gambia Fire and Rescue Service, to come and give them the tips on what to do during the rainy season, how to prevent fire outbreak in the process. So those are some of the things that we do. We also have NDMA to come and train them, guiding them on the disaster preparedness that they need to do, some of the things that they need to do before the disaster arrives, and what they need to do during the disaster. We also do have the Red Cross step in the aspect of psychological first aid, because some of them, when the disaster happens, they traumatize and all that. So we need to have people to be giving them psychological support, talking to them, calming the situation before we can remedy the situation.
So Kabir, of course you're training them on all of these things, but sometimes they need the practical aspect of it, that is the material. Does the training also involve giving them maybe first aid materials and all of that? Because if you train someone to do first aid and they don't have the necessary tools or the equipment to do the job, it's like very difficult.
Yeah, that is very true. But during the first and the second year we had the training, what we did, we were able to secure material because we partnered, as Kadi have said, we partnered with NDMA, NAWEC, Fire Service. So all of these people are our partners. Normally we bring them on board. So the training normally, in the first 3 years we had the training, it's normally 3 days training, day-long training, whereby each of these partners will come and train the community members. And these community members, as I said, from the 7 wards we have in Talinding, each ward will send representatives. We will also give, normally we do give some membership to the sister links. You know, Talinding is not the only link. We have other links like Ibo Town, which is also a disaster-prone area. We have the likes of Fajikunda, we have Abuko. All these areas are disaster-prone areas. But because we are the link hosting the event, we do also invite sister links to come and join. But they will just bring few volunteers to come and attend the training so that they can go and give back to their communities. But now, when we do the training, we were able to secure materials. We were able to secure materials to give to these people. So the different wards in Talinding, we gave them materials so that the people that will go to the field to respond will have at least materials because they will be safe. You cannot go and help someone when in actual sense you are not safe. So the safety of the person helping is key. So they were given materials to be able to respond.
So you did mention that you're in partnership with, of course, the NEA,
NDMA.
Disaster Management,
yeah.
and NAWEC as well. So aside from the training that you are really giving out to these community members, do you have any other plan maybe to work with the community in making sure that you establish like a drainage system or construct something, a good road network for the community of Talinding and others? Because really this has been happening for like ever.
But that's
every year.
That's more NDMA.
Yeah,
NDMA it's not right.
But
no, I mean, hence they are in collaboration. Are they in
Come on.
talks? Like,
Come
are
on.
they
Sure.
in talks,
Come
Mr.
on.
Ade?
Yeah.
Are they in talks about like something like that?
Sure.
It's not
Yeah.
just about
Yeah.
training.
Yeah, there are even key partners that we didn't mention. That is, we have our community leaders. That is the Alcalo.
Sure.
We have the two councillors. That is the
Yeah.
councillor for Talinding South and the councillor for Talinding North. That is Honorable Mansari and Honorable Karamo Sise. Also, not forgetting our then MP, that is Honorable Farmada Jawara, and also the current MP, Honorable Musa Baji.
Sure.
If you observe some of our pictures, you will see that most of the pictures, you will see them, they are on the ground.
Yeah,
so they were all featured, and they also participate, both financially and also physically. They will be present to also give their support. Now, as you've said, like the construction of the road, we know that disaster is key, and among the issues that normally trigger the issues of flood and other things, because there is poor drainage system. And in Talinding, you only have two key drainage systems. That is the one you have around Ibo Town, that is Churches Town N, and the other one you have around Buvo Zone. And even if you look at it, it doesn't go up to the river. So it stops.
Yeah,
so you realize that now when the water goes up to that end, where it goes is inside the houses of people. So you realize that they will be affected. So what we did with some of these community leaders, as CF asked, that is to help them at least create a waterway. But that is temporal.
Yeah.
And it's temporal. Maybe maybe as you said, we will sit down again and rethink how best to redesign everything. But drainage system is a problem. I know that is beyond us as a link, because we don't have resources.
The training, they can have all the training, all the knowledge.
Yeah.
But if the disaster is there, every year it's happening, they are losing their properties, their livestock, and even some lives are lost.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's not really solving anything at the end of the day.
True. But we've realized something, because when we did our survey, like we normally conduct a survey, at every rainy season we conduct survey to know the number of households that are affected, what damages have been done. But comparing the data we have from 2017 and our current data, that's why even this year we observe we don't have 3 days training. It was just 1 day training, at least to refresh some other community members that have newly joined in the training. So that's why just to refresh them, because already we've seen the impact. A lot of things have been achieved. That is the number of people that we are affected. It has reduced. Like the dump site that we had, most of those dump sites we are cleared. So, this dump site also, they contribute a lot. Yeah. They contribute immensely, because you realize when there is this dump site and there is flood, people will be prone to this, most especially the children that are around the community.
Of course.
When the water is around, they will be jumping inside the water, dancing, doing other things.
Of course.
And, all of these things are not safe, looking at their health.
I mean, when we got the letter for coverage, the one thing that struck me was that this training was taking place in August. If you speak to most Gambians and you talk about last year, they were talking about the July floods. Now, the floods last year were in July. By the time we get to August, the rain season is upon us and it's settled in. Is there any reason why it wasn't done earlier? Because we're using the term disaster preparedness, and yet this training is happening probably in the middle of when it's raining quite heavily. Was there any reason for that?
Yeah. We had some setbacks with our partners, and also with a little bit of logistics.
Right.
Because, we cannot just come and train people. We at least have to give them food and other things.
Okay.
So logistics was a problem.
Right.
And our partners also, we had some setbacks.
Okay.
So that was the main reason. That's why we pushed it. Initially, it was not even August, but it was June. So normally, if you observe the other trainings, most of them have been June. Earlier before the rainy season, so that at least people will be prepared.
Sure.
We better prepare the community members. But we do have also series of setups. When we realized that the training will be late, what we did was we had setups.
Okay.
Whereby we realized that most of these dump sites will be cleared.
Right.
So that when during the rainy season now, there will be nothing like the water will run freely. so that we don't enter in the hands of people. But still, we can just mitigate the destruction, but we cannot say we will avoid it totally.
True.
Okay. So Kajetu, when you talk about disaster, because we know that this is August, and like Mr. Ade said, the last day, July, the disaster occurred and lots of people lost their lives. This time around, what kind of disaster or disaster-related issues did you spot out in Talinde?
Yes, so far, just day before yesterday, we went for a survey because it was a whole week raining. So when we went for survey, some of the things that we realized is like those problems that we have been having in water coming into people, communities, and all of their houses, this time they were prepared before. So that is some of them put 2-3 courses of blocks that the water will lock outside instead of coming inside the compound. So when we went there, some of the issues we relate is those people are in the furrow areas. So some of the issues they are having is water coming from down the floor. So that are some of the issues we have. So we were able to join them to withdraw the water and expose it outside.
Okay. But no casualties?
No, we don't have any casualties, any complaints so far. That is the issue we're facing right now.
So what's the way forward as far as the Talindian Red Cross link is concerned, as far as disaster is concerned? What's the way forward now?
Yes, as a link, just like you rightly mentioned, we have been doing disaster training. So this time, learning our lessons and all that, we are prepared to sit after the training, that is have our evaluation, write recommendation letters to NDMA and our partners to tell them some of the issues that we feel if we do it, it is really going to help to mitigate the rate of disasters that we are facing in our country.
Okay.
Karim, I mean, it's a link which suggests that there are other Red Cross links elsewhere. And we've just heard about the survey you've just done. So do you actually share information with others in other disaster-prone areas and say, this is what we encountered, this is what we learned from it, and this is how we know what we need to do? What's the kind of information sharing?
In terms of information sharing, any data that we collect, there is a central database where we share the data.
Right.
Like, Red Cross, because we are a community link representing Gambia Red Cross Society in the community. So any data we collect, we channel it through our branch officer, and then it will be channeled to the National Society. That is why you will see where these aids will come. They will aid people that are affected and other things. But at community level, what we do, when we collect the information, we will share it and inform the branch that these are the number of households that are affected, these are the number of people affected so far, and these are some of the recommendations that we are putting forward. So maybe these are some, maybe also with regards to items. Maybe these items are completely damaged, this one's partially. So these are things that we require, or these are the things that these people will need. So they will also put priorities and also see how best to be able to assist them based on, because they are the ones giving the aid. We are not giving aid. All what we have is just to see how best to mobilize people and support during disaster.
I know time it's not on our side, but finally, quickly, are you also in collaboration with Weather Focus? Because of recent, they've been doing a very good job, telling people when they are expecting the rain and whether it's a heavy rain, whether there will be lightning, whether there will be thunderstorm and all of those things. Are you also really conscious about these things and letting the residents of Talindi or the community of Talindi know about these things so that they can better prepare themselves? Do you have that in mind?
Normally, maybe as a link, few of us will following Weather Focus. When they do their focus, we will inform the volunteers. Like as they have just focused that 7 days, there will be rainfall from morning till 7. So we know that as a link, we prepare our volunteers mentally. So they will be prepared. They will be prepared. They will all be on standby. Anything that happens, they will be able to respond.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Kabir Nias and Khadija Tudabo, for coming.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
So viewers, will go for a short commercial break. When we return, the program continues.
Do your banking the smart way with the new Ajib Bank. Do your banking the smart way with the new Ajib Bank mobile app. Transfer money to any bank account in the Gambia. Top up airtime for all networks. Pay utility bills. Check your account balance and view mini statements. Request for ATM cards. Request for checkbooks and more in a single touch. So, do your banking in a smart way. Do your banking now with Ajib Bank mobile app. Every time is banking time. Aji Bank, your investment partner.
Espas Motors is the largest and most modern auto service in the Gambia. Espas Motors is the only authorized dealer in Chevy, Mercedes-Benz trucks, Mercedes-Benz buses, Kia, Ford, Futon Mini and Midi buses, Futon trucks. At Espas Motors, we have qualified professionals who use modern technology to diagnose and repair all brands of motor vehicles. Espas Motor services include auto sales, auto repairs, vehicle painting, availability of high-quality spare parts, towing services. We are reachable at any time. Call Espas Motors on 352222 353-4444 or locate us on the Bertil Harding Highway. Espas Motors.
Who asked for it? And QCell is giving it to you with our new and improved Sunyu Bundle Mega Promo. Now you can get more data at cheaper prices. Buy any of our bundle packages and enjoy massive discounts. Dial *303# and enjoy browsing on the network with the biggest coverage. Buy a 20 megabytes data bundle for as low as $7 and 50 bottles today, or purchase bigger bundles up to 20 gigabytes. Yes, that's right, 20 gigabytes of data at your fingertips. With our mega promo bundles, you can browse more, chat longer, and stay connected on the go, anytime, anywhere. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, we innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you the eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sinubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Mobile app. Transfer money to any bank account in the Gambia. Top up airtime for all networks. Pay utility bills. Check your account balance and view mini statements. Request for ATM cards. Request for checkbooks and more in a single touch. So, do your banking in a smart way. Do your banking now with Aji Bank mobile app. Every time is banking time. Aji Bank, your investment partner.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is the This Morning program coming to you live on QTV, and we were talking to the Thalinding Home Red Cross link, and we are talking about disaster preparedness. And now we have the Executive Director of Bekanyang, Famara Jauna, in the studio to talk to us about the recently concluded training for teacher coordinators on human rights. Good morning, Mr. Jauna, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. This 3-day training, we know that it's on human rights, but why was it organized? What's the rationale behind it?
Thank you very much. As we all know, the Gambia, after 22 years of dictatorship, we lack the human rights culture in this country. Our organization, prior to the change of government, used to have human rights sensitization programs in schools at ad hoc basis. After the change of government, we realized that we need to have the human rights clubs established in schools to ensure greater impact of our work. And as a result, we established the first set of human rights clubs in schools in 2018. There were 10, and as of this year, we have 48 human rights clubs in schools across all regions of this country. The rationale, like you asked, behind the training actually was to equip the participants, the teachers here in this case, with the requisite skills and knowledge to have a better understanding of human rights themselves, because you cannot better teach the kids about human rights issues if you don't know them. That's one. Two, again, to better coordinate the clubs in the schools. We have instances whereby some of our clubs were dormant at some point, and that at some point could also be because of lack of capacity on the side of the teacher coordinators. So we decided that, you know what, we need to have another training, because again, we have some of the teacher coordinators who will be transferred after 4 or 5 years or even less to different schools. So when they move, the schools will assign new teacher coordinators to take charge of the clubs. So they lack human rights, understandings on human rights, and even to better manage the clubs. So that was the reason why we partnered with our partner agencies to organize the training.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes, I mean, one of the things that I found intriguing, we talk about these clubs being established, 48 of them across the... what exactly do the clubs do, these human rights clubs? What exactly do they do?
So you know very well that this year is 75th anniversary of UDHR, that is the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Yeah.
But yet still you go to communities, especially schools around this country, you ask kids about human rights issues, the articles in the UDHR. Before the coming of our clubs, most of them don't know.
Right.
You'll be surprised, even teachers, some of them don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
We believe that they will know.
Sure.
But essentially, because of lack of human rights education in schools, they don't know. So these clubs actually are like any other extracurricular activities that they have in the school. And teacher coordinators are identified, and they teach the kids about the 30 articles of the UDHR, issues of gender-based violence, issues of social bullying, bullying in schools and the like. So these are all issues that they are discussing.
And you mentioned these being extracurricular, and so most of the teachers, or all of the teachers, are these people who step forward and volunteer and say, I want to do this, I want to be involved in this, because it's in addition to their already full agenda.
Exactly. But yet again, plans are at advanced stage to introduce human rights education in the school curricula. The National Human Rights Commission and the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, I understand, are working hard to start that in this country.
So you also mentioned that it's 40 teachers across the country.
That's right.
When you talk about human rights, it's really broad. It's a broad area. What exactly are you teaching them?
So at the level of the teacher coordinators who are trained, so they were looking at the fundamental human rights, but they were also looking at issues relating to gender-based violence, I mentioned earlier on, and also issues relating to bullying in schools, child rights issues and the like. So these were the main theme of the themes of the discussion, but they were also looking at international instruments as well, so that they can have a broader understanding of human rights mechanisms as well, because Gambia is not an island, so we are also part of the international community. And therefore, it's important that when we are involved in some of these things, we have some understanding of some of these mechanisms as well.
So these clubs that you're talking about, in the 46 schools across the country, 48 rather, across the country. How is the coordination? How is it done, really? Because human rights these are complex issues. Absolutely. And it needs to be taught by someone who really understands human rights issues.
Absolutely.
So what is the coordination issue? How is it really coordinated at schools?
So like I said, the school administrations are responsible for identifying teachers who would like to volunteer. And in some instances, we had few schools whereby teachers themselves have some background on law. So that makes it even much easier. In some schools where that doesn't exist, the administration will look for someone who is very much committed and is very much passionate about human rights issues, and then assign them with the responsibility of coordinating the human rights clubs. But from our end, as far as the coordination is concerned, so we have a reporting mechanism, and they have to develop a work plan. So this is to tell us every month what are they going to do at the school level. Because one thing is to train. We've been having trainings, not only on human rights, but other issues in this country. But what next after training? So we have developed, at the end of the training, an action plan for all the schools.
Okay.
So the teacher coordinators, actually we have 2 coordinators in each of the schools. So they will report back to us what they've done every month. But again, also our field officers will go into the regions, thanks to our regional office staff in Basse, to go to regions and find out what they are doing at the school level. So what we now introducing also is the reporting format has also changed, that you need to wait until after the 6 months you report, but it's going to be monthly basis as well. So at the level of the organization, we're trying very hard to improve coordination, but there are challenges, I have to be honest with you.
Sure.
But with the support of the school authorities, I think the issue of coordination is now becoming, is being addressed,
Sure.
at least at the school level.
Okay. So,
Yeah, Karen.
okay, you talk about the challenges. What are these challenges that are really hindering the full progress of the coordination?
Also, mobility challenge is there. I would have loved to, someone who likes to be in the field myself, I would have loved to be in schools almost on weekly basis.
But Kenya has all the money.
think
How
so?
can a
I wish
human
we
rights
have.
organization be broke, Mr. Ade?
So you may be interesting to know that
It's not a business.
in this country, one area that lacks that support during the 22 years of the dictatorship is human rights.
Sure.
When human rights organizations want to implement programs, donors will tell them that these are great initiatives,
Sure.
but then we fear for your life
Yeah, quite.
and that of your organization. And because there was no culture of funding human rights organizations, we're still struggling. But notwithstanding, we have resources like materials that we use in schools, literature materials,
Sure.
human rights booklets. These are important materials that we are using. But finance-wise, we're still struggling. But that should not be a hindrance to the overall objective that we want to achieve at the end of the day.
Okay. Okay.
No, Karen.
Recently, the world commemorated the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Let's talk about that in the Gambian context. How would you rate Gambia in terms of human rights?
So like I said, this year, supposed to be 75th anniversary
Yeah.
of the UDHR. And probably before I respond to that, I just want to acknowledge the support that we receive from our partners, such as the UNDP and the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights and UN Peace Building Fund for the successful conduct of this training and many other trainings that we about to organize. So yeah, 75 years, UDHR, this country we all know very well. Even to call yourself a human rights activist prior to the change of government was challenging, much more to educate people about their rights. So significant progress have been registered, to be honest with you. For the first time, we have a National Human Rights Commission. We never thought of having that in this country before. For the first time, we have the proliferation of media houses all over this country. And to a great extent, I can say that with confidence, the freedom of speech is being exercised in this country, enjoyed by many, even though there are some challenges to that effect as well. But generally, if you ask me as a country, I think significant progress have been registered. The issue of torture, extrajudicial killings and the like, were rampant during the former regime, as we've seen from the testimonies from the TRRC. So if you ask me, I would say, as a country, significant progress have been registered, but we have problem when it comes to the issue of economic rights in this country. So many people go to bed hungry. So many people are unemployed. So these are problems. You go to our hospitals, there are a lot of challenges. You go to our schools, there are a lot of challenges. So yes, issues of political, civic rights have been enjoyed to a greater extent, but we are not doing well when it comes to issues of economic rights. And this is a big challenge for our country.
One of the things that I've always been interested in is education. Yeah. And of course, the right to education
Absolutely.
is one of those human rights that we're talking
Absolutely.
about. In the Gambia, we're fond of passing laws but not implementing them.
That's correct.
Education is meant to be compulsory.
Sure.
What are you doing in terms of working with the likes of government, with the likes of the education ministries, to actually make real this pledge that every child deserves to get an education? Because you see them out on the streets, they're not being educated, and we can't pretend otherwise. For all the fact that the laws are there, they might as well be non-existent. So how are you working with those partners? It's fine working with schools, because already those are children who are going to school, and you have teachers who are teaching. But what about the ones who are not in school and should be in school? how do we get them in there?
This is very important, and that is why we've signed MOU with the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education to work in collaboration with the ministry to see how best we can promote right to education in schools. And I agree with you. We have a lot of kids roaming around in the streets. You go to Farafenni, you go to Basse, everywhere in the greater Banjul area. A lot of kids have been denied access to that right, enjoyment of that right.
I was shocked when I went to Farafenni when I saw the number of children out on
a lot of them.
It's really shocking.
So I think what we're doing is we should go beyond advocacy probably and have some strategic engagements because right now we are doing more of advocacy to ensure that everyone have access to education and hold the government accountable. Because at the end of the day, government is the primary duty. It's government's responsibility to provide basic education to all the kids in the Gambia. So apart from advocacy, I think we need some strategic engagements with the ministry and all other relevant stakeholders to ensure that kids all over this country are enjoying that right.
Okay. Earlier, very early in the program, we were talking about children who want to learn and, you ask questions, you get hit and so on. A lot of what children who are going to school will come up against are the sort of the norms, traditional norms of this society, where really children's rights have not been taken seriously or recognized. How do you get the children to realize that, look, there are ways that you can ask for, advocate, or tell your parents that actually I have rights too? Because that's the thing they're going to come up against when you have parents who probably beat their children, some of them quite severely, and those children have rights. But and of course, since I've come to the Gambia, I found that people are very reluctant to complain about somebody, even when they're in danger. They think, oh, it's wrong for me to go and complain about this person, let alone a parent. So how do you square those sorts of things?
So at the level of the clubs, so what we do, we're not only educating kids about their rights, but also their responsibilities. But our human rights teacher coordinators have been very helpful in this. They've been moving from house to house, especially in rural areas, where they found out that a particular parent is very aggressive, sort of.
Right.
They try to intervene and let them understand that whereas we can discipline kids, there are many ways to do that. But issues relating to corporal punishment and the like is not something that has been encouraged in this country anymore.
Thank you, Mr. Jane. Thank you, Mr.
Time
Ade.
is our enemy, eh?
Time, it's indeed our enemy, viewers. Well, I'm afraid that's all we got time for. Well, my output today, it's by Njai Chara. You can contact him on 5910785. Many thanks indeed for the pleasure of your company. Until we come your way tomorrow for another edition of this morning program. Bye.